Hi guys, this is Jeff at Slavens Racing. This video is about 24 Rekluse X clutch that I'm going to put in my, or that I'm putting in my 24 KTM 500 XWF. This also applies to the EXC, the Husqvarna, similar models, the 501, 450, standard or S, doesn't matter. Actually, all these tips apply to pretty much any of the Rekluse, any of the KTM, Husqvarna, or GasGas diaphragm style clutches. And how do you know if you have a diaphragm style clutch? Well, you don't have 6 coil springs around here like they've had a long time ago on KTMs, or like the Japanese brands still use. That's the spring right there. That big, looks like a wave washer kind of a thing. It's a cupped washer. That's the clutch spring. So if you have that style clutch, these tips apply. All right, so I've already got the new clutch in here. You can see this is the Rekluse XP 4.0. And this is one of the first ones out that they got to me early on so I could do some testing with it. Anyhow, before you take out the old clutch plates, so I always reach in there with a tool like this. I use 2 of them, and I get down in here and I pull the whole clutch pack out. So I use one tool here, one tool up here, and I pull the whole clutch pack out at once. But you got to be careful when you do that, because these pins, no matter if you're pulling them all out at once or one plate at a time, it doesn't really matter. These pins here tend to want to come out. And that's fine, because you can easily put them back in, but the problem is if they come out when you don't want them to, is they're going to fall down in here and cause you a big problem on getting them back out of there. Sometimes you might be able to retrieve them with a magnet. Other times you might have to pull the whole clutch primary cover off, which is this cover. So let's avoid that pain in the butt and just remove these pins. So you can just grab one with your fingers and pull them out. So there it is. So you should just go around and pull all 6 of those out and just set them aside on your shop towel and then pull the clutch plates out. All right, then before you put the new clutch plates in, they'll come with the Rekluse kit, just put in 2 of them. Put in one up here and one down here, or there and there, wherever. Just 2 opposing pins, and put all the clutch plates in there. Because you can still, in the process of dropping in the plates, you might jiggle them around. Maybe take the plate out because you didn't think you got it seated in there quite properly or something. And you can still, pop one of those pins out of there and have it go down the wrong place and cause a big nightmare. All right, so after you've got all the plates in here, then put the rest of the pins in, and they just slide right in. All right, and why does KTM use this system? Because it's far superior to the other systems like they used many years ago, or like the Japanese bikes still use. All right, so this locates the steel drive plates onto the center hub. On bikes that don't have this type of system with the old coil springs, then there's grooves in the center hub, and then the plates, the drive plates, the steel plates have teeth on them, and it fits into those grooves. Well, what happens over time is those grooves get worn out. They get completely destroyed, and you have to replace the hub. With KTMs, you never ever replace hubs, never. They just don't fail. They're steel, they're not aluminum. They've got this pin system. The pins don't even wear out. I mean, KTM clutches are extremely tough. All right, so that's just one little trick to keep you from having a big headache. All right, also I'm going to go over some of my setup. So this is a 24 model, and this is a new clutch. This is the 4.0 that they just brought out. And so I don't know for sure what springs I need to have in it. And when I say the springs, I'm talking about the ones in the EXP. This outer ring here that expands with centrifugal force, this is called the EXP, and this is an EXP 4.0. All right, for the springs for it, there's 1, 2, 3 on this side, and then there's 3 on the other side if you flip it over. All right, so this clutch, and that controls how fast or slow the EXP expands. It's got to do this in order to lock up the clutch. And I wanted to do it quickly because I want it to engage at a low RPM when I'm accelerating, and I want it to stay engaged when I'm decelerating. I want it to stay, for that clutch to be engaged all the way down to idle when I'm coming down a hill. If your clutch is freewheeling on you while you're coming down a hill or any other similar situation, then to me that's a bad setup. Because once they're freewheeling, you've lost control. And so on this one, since this is the first one I put in, I've not installed one of these before, this exact clutch on this exact bike. I'm just making an educated guess on what it needs for springs, because I always like the low engagement springs. All right, so from the factory it came with blue on both sides, so 6 blues. I left one side blue and I've changed the other side to silver. Silver is a softer spring that allows the clutch to expand quicker. So I'm going to try that, and after I get this together and ride it a little bit, I'll show you what I've done and how it's working, and also I'll show you my adjustment on the other side. All right, a couple other little tips while we're on this side, guys, this is the new Rekluse pressure plate, so it's the very outside plate, and then this piece fits in it. And it's easiest if you take some light grease, like this is seal grease. I don't know if you can see it here, but I've put some on this. And that's just gonna, when I put this on, I can't see it, there it is. That's just gonna make it stick. So now, I can turn it upside down and that piece is stuck on there. I think you can do the same thing with oil. I always just use grease, but I think oil would do a similar thing for you. Also, this outer plate, you have to change from these screws to this style screw. If you leave these in there, when the clutch expands, it will grind up your clutch cover. So make sure you change those. And then they come in the number 2 position. If you can see that number on there, right there. It says number 2. Sometimes they have just 1 scribe, 2 scribes, and 3 scribes. This one is marked 1, 2, 3. But use that middle position, that number 2 position. That's what I prefer. And then I just want to show you this new clutch cover. So this clutch cover, it weighs at least twice what they have in the past, maybe more. All this bracing they've put in it, they've really beefed up this cover. Not sure why they went to that extreme, but it's a lot stronger than it used to be, I can tell you that. So let's see, there's the old clutch over there. You can see you removed pretty much all those pieces. And now it's ready for me to just finish assembling with the pressure plate, and the spring, and I don't know what this piece is called. And that piece right there. So anyhow, on Rekluse clutches, I don't do Rekluse installation videos because the Rekluse manual that comes with the clutch is very good. It's got very good detailed instructions on how to install the clutch, and then they've also got excellent videos on how to install the clutch. And their videos are better than what I can produce. And I learn better by watching videos than I do by reading, but whatever works for you. Their manual's great, their videos are great. So this video is just about tips. That's it. How to set it up and how to save yourself some headaches. All right, guys, so I'm going to finish putting this together. So stay tuned. I'll be back in a little bit here and give you an update on how this all worked out. Okay, guys, so I did a little road trip yesterday, a little dual sport ride. You can see I did 98.7 miles. I started here at my house and went up Gold Camp Road to the little town of Victor. It's an old mining town. And I had a pretty mediocre burger up there and kind of cruised around the town a little bit, talked to a few people, and went and found their new troll wood display that they have up there. Anyhow, it was a beautiful day yesterday, and I did a few little side trips off the main road. But the clutch worked very well the way I had it set up. Today, yesterday was beautiful. Today it's snowing, typical Colorado. So that's why I'm inside here. And you can see I've got my collection of springs here. So I always keep parts and pieces left over from jobs because you never know when you might need something. And so the setup I came up with, which was the blue and the silver. So I've got 3 blues and 3 silvers. 3 blue on one side of the XP ring and 3 silvers on the other side. That gave me a really good engagement. It stays engaged down to a very low RPM when you're decelerating, like going down a hill or just decelerating. And then it engages very quickly when you get on the throttle. It was an excellent setup for dual sport, that type of stuff, or maybe you're going to pull up and take a picture or something like that and you don't want to take it out of gear or grab the clutch lever. But for trail riding, I'd probably maybe set it up just slightly tighter. So down here you can see right there where I've got a red mark here. So what I do is, if you read the manual, the instruction manual, or watch the video, it tells you to find, have this screw backed out a ways, and then screw it in slowly until you feel it starting to touch the push rod. And then from there go 1 turn plus X amount of clicks. So this is the 1 turn. So this means that it's got, and then there's another little mark right there that's on the screw itself. Anyhow, so this is, I always mark them at 1 turn, and you can see that this is 1 turn plus 1, 2, 3 scribes. So that's where I've got it right now. I think for trail riding, I might back it off a click so that it engages even a little bit harder on the bottom. But it works beautifully with the way it is. So you can't go wrong with this setup. Sorry, I had do a little groaning getting up. My legs bother me today. Anyhow, guys, so that's the final setup. Basically 100 miles of testing on this new setup. It worked great. I did some first gear stuff on it, climbed a few little things. I also did a bunch of 4th and 5th and 6th gear, running it hard, revving it, and seeing how the clutch engaged and stayed engaged during that. So that's the setup, guys. It's ready to rip. We've got these 4.0 Recluses in stock for the 24 models. And we've got 4.0 upgrade kits for the 23 and earlier models. If you've got like a 3.0 model clutch, you can upgrade it. It's a pretty inexpensive upgrade. All that information is on our website, slavensracing.com. And then I'll put a link to these springs, page where you can purchase these springs, because this is what it comes with, is what's in that bag. So there's no silvers in there. So you just need to buy 1 of the silver kits, because it does, like I said, it's already got the blues in there. And the kits are cheap. I don't know what the price is, but they're very inexpensive. And also at in the description section on that page at slavensracing.com, there's also a suggestion on what spring setup to use for each model of bike. And I'll put this bike on there, so in case you forget. All right, guys, that's all for now. Please like us on Instagram and Facebook, and subscribe to us on YouTube. And give us a shout out once in a while. Stop by the store if you can. And hope to see you out on the trail, getting some throttle therapy. That's all for now.